What's up, y'all?
Holy moly.
It's like literally standing room only here.
I love you. Y'all are badass.
Is the fire marshal here? No? Good. Very good.
They killed him. They killed him. Hi guys, happy 2015. This is super cool. Have we been in a room this size?
We are right now.
I love the idea that somebody, probably many somebodies, are here and staying at the hotel with no idea what Supernatural is. Walking around going like, what on earth is going on? This is the weirdest year ever. Ha ha ha. Hey, did y'all convert anybody? Did y'all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep them coming. Really quickly, and I always love this. Who's first time? That's so awesome.
Yes, we're growing.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for season 11. There is undoubtedly. Oh, I see. Oh, there was probably a thing in the yeah.
How about Loud and Swain, by the way, guys? Rocking it.
Awesome. We would not be here if it were not for you guys. And I know a lot of you say y'all wouldn't be here if it weren't for us, but it goes both ways. So thank y'all. We certainly wouldn't be still kicking along. We love you back. But Mom, you gotta keep it down.
Every time.
Sorry. That's it.
Dean loves you.
Dean from Gilmore Girls? Yes, he does. Without further ado, unless Shackles...
I don't have any more to do, so...
He doesn't have any to do, so let's go left side, strong side. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to know when you both first started trying out for this, the scenes, was it anything like you thought it was going to be?
We tried out for the show, for Supernatural?
Yes.
Oh, God, no. No way.
Jared was still in diapers.
I was still in diapers. Yeah. And he had just joined AARP. He was retired. I was learning to walk.
I just started my reverse mortgage, and it's really worked out.
I'm Wilford Brimley. Someone talked to you about
Fred Thompson. It's not Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley does diabetes.
Not the diabetes.
My people.
It's changed a lot. In fact, it's changed so much that even as the show goes on, I still don't even presume or try and figure out what the next episode's going to be about. I just kind of read the script with an open mind. I learned a long time ago to try and figure out what was going on in San Diego. Thank you.
Holy hell, I love you guys. Thank you.
Well, excuse me?
If Sam and Dean had superpowers, what would they be, what would their names be, and what would their catchphrase be?
Batman. A catchphrase?
This is so much pressure.
That is a, no, he can't say I'm Batman. So get this. I believe I just heard something with a witch. I want more. That's a terrible catchphrase. I'm here, and I want more pie.
I think Dean's catchphrase would be, hold my beer. It's about to get real.
That's a good catchphrase.
Hold my beer.
And then and then there's a scene where you're in an establishment and stuff starts going down, but you don't help yet because you have to go wait for your beer to arrive. So you have to go get one. You're like, buddy, hurry! I can't fight until I give somebody my beer and say, hold my beer. And there's a line. Your credit card machine isn't swiping. Then
It's a cash-only bar. I don't have any cash on me.
Then they call
thanks. You just riddled my story with holes. I appreciate that.
I'll have to think about that. That's an amazing question. I have to try and think about that. Yeah, thank you.
His superhero name, though, would be Hairman.
All my life, I was going to say that.
Hairman?
All my life.
Get out of my head!
We've been doing this show way too long. And my catchphrase would be, hold my hairbrush. Hold my beanie.
It's like the Ron Burgundy of crime fighting. I was born to fight crime and have salon quality hair.
Amazing. All right, now we got it.
Thanks for that.
Draw them. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. It does.
Close the these. Wait.
Sorry.
How the Cowboys do, because that's all I care about. Feel my pain.
Hi there.
Hi. First of all, perfection doesn't even come close to describing both of you.
Carry on.
My question is, I love the way Sam and Dean can communicate without saying anything to each other, and I was wondering if that ever happens to you guys in real life, and can you give an
It
example?
just happened. He thought something, and I said it out loud.
But quickly. Good one.
Right? I told you.
28-22, huh?
Yeah. No.
Unfortunately, yes. Thank you. No, man. But seriously,
True.
just saying, just thinking.
Just thinking. Thinking.
Hi, I'm Savannah, and I was asking if you guys could go back in time and relive one memory, what memory would you relive and why?
You know what? Honest to God, he just taught me that he was going to say the same thing. But the moment I became a father.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to beat. There's a a moment, and this is, you know, without getting too sentimental, but when we found out, when I found out that my wife was pregnant, and then we found out it was going to be a girl, the picture that in my head that I immediately thought of was me walking through the door and her running to me with her arms open. All right. And as some of you know, that doesn't happen for quite some time. Stop it. It has just now recently started happening. So, yeah, I would relive those moments that I'm having now in my life. If I could just keep those lasting forever, which, hey, hopefully she always loves me that much and can run to me. So, hopefully.
Thank you guys. So my question is, since your voices are pretty deep, how high can you make your voice?
Well, I mean, thanks for noticing. Salt gun.
I haven't asked for a salt gun in a long time. How high can we make them?
Yellow. Oh, yeah. Well, now, I don't know. The best, I can't go on to it on cue like that, that's impressive. But y'all watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
And he talks about this.
I was just thinking that in my head.
I know you are. I know.
I'm not kidding. I'm just thinking about the novel.
And every time you see the novel, the protagonist, and every time his protagonist, and some prince to come in and he's it actually hurts your throat to really try.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Somebody punched it. Anyway, so football. What's your question? Thanks, brother.
Sorry, just first of all, Jared, you remind me of a puppy version of Gandalf.
A puppy bird.
Gandalf the White.
Is it because of the hair? Do you like mystery? A puppy? I'm glad. I heard puppy virgin at first. Brain shut off. Puppy version of Gandalf. Rough.
Oh my goodness.
Then what is he? No. What is he then?
A smarter version of Zoolander.
I need a stab.
Okay, my question is, at one point in your career, when you had doubt, did you think of doing other jobs?
Oh, at what point do we think of doing other jobs?
Yeah, at your acting career.
You mean at what point of the show or just the career in general?
career, like you had doubt or something.
You and I had a great conversation recently about how when we both moved from Texas, there was a while there where I was like, well, I guess I'm going back. I was doing fine, but I was eating ramen once a day and the classic actor struggle. But there were a few times where you're like, man, am I packing up? And I had school starting. I graduated from high school, enrolled at UT Austin, had my housing assignment, had my classroom assignment, my roommate, and then I did Gilmore Girls. Nobody.
Small building.
yeah. And then, but it was just a guest star spot, right? And I immediately, I'm a fairly confident guy, but you get in there in some of those audition rooms, and even to this day, if I have an audition I sweat anyways. I'm a wreck. I'm a mess. I mean, I'm like, Vampire Diaries. Little do they know that secretly I'm Hairman. I'm happy through the lean times. I didn't go back because this is amazing. Thank you.
Same.
He was thinking it while I was speaking, pretty much.
Yeah, no, there was never really a time as of late that I was like, I wish I was rolling out asphalt right now. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but there was a very similar time that I had. It was about a year into have moved out to California from Texas, and even though I was working and I'd already done a couple of TV shows, I was literally about to hang it up and move back home and go to school and go a completely different route in life. And then I went out on this audition, and I got a call back, and I got another call back, and I said, all right, you know what, if I get this job, I'll stay. And I hung it all on this one job, and I said, if I don't get it, then I'm moving back to Texas. And I got it, and then I was on Days of Our Lives for 3 years. Big fan. Big fan.
Right, Eric.
Don't act like you don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
She's doing the big thing with us.
Okay, so early on you guys decided to prank Misha together and not prank each other, and I was wondering what the worst prank you played on each other was.
He stopped. We were smart enough to know that, like Sam and Dean, the stakes were going to get higher and higher. Luckily, I don't know. I mean,
I think the last one I did was probably season 2 to him, and I TP'd his entire trailer on the inside, and let off like 2 stink bombs in the trailer. It was rancid.
and I walked in and I was like, home.
So, and then I think we kind of looked at each other, we're like, this is going to be very dangerous if we continue down this road. And then that's when we were like, all right, truce.
Thunder Buddies?
Thunder Buddies for life. And then they cast Misha, and it was like, hello? Yeah.
The weird guy walking around, right?
That makes you good person.
Sometimes I just think Misha is a marionette.
My favorite ever, one of my favorite ever supernatural stories is when we shot premiere of season 1, I'm sorry, episode 1 of season 4 with Misha, my wife. He worked with Misha before I did, before I even met him. And we knew he was there for a while, he was going to be a regular. And so Jensen and I go to stage 3. You know, our trailers are by stage 1, and you can imagine stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Make a trailer, our trailers. And we were blocking on stage 3. I think Jensen had filmed with Misha that morning. And so then I come in like midday to do the Sam and Dean stuff. And as we're leaving the stage, I'm like, hey, how's the new guy? Misha? Is that real? Is that a real name? And Jensen looks at me, not a word of a lie. He goes, it's kind of weird, man. And we're walking and talking like from stage one, and there were, craft service truck, and the grip truck, and the lighting truck, and this truck, and that truck that holds all the gear. And so we're walking, and he's like, yeah, he's good. He's he's right there. He's watching us. Keep walking. And we look over, and like Rosemary's Baby, he's like sitting on the back of the trailer. And we sort of like, walk fast. And then he was like, hello, I thought that scene went really well, Jensen. Oh, Misha.
Only gonna get worse. Where are we at?
Yeah.
Jensen, you're taller in real life.
Yeah, I know. He's a bit of a letdown, isn't he?
If Supernatural got renewed for the 30th season, how is he going to...
So, did you say as in 3-0?
You know what? It'd be really unimpressive fight scenes. It'd be like the Indiana Jones bit where the guy does all the crazy stuff and Indiana Jones just pulls up. Yeah! It'd be like a season of that. Demon is doing all this crazy stuff. He's like, nah.
You really need the 30 to 50 zone then.
Oh yeah. I'd actually, yeah, that's right. Wow. I don't even want to think about that. Let's go.
It'd be like if Dukes of Hazzard was still on.
It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome. All right, it's going. Not a lie, when we got our season 11 pickup just recently, we both got an email from Peter Roth, who was everybody's boss. He's the top guy at Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers TV.
Yeah, Warner Brothers TV. And he sent an email to Jared and I congratulating us on the season 11 pickup. He said, congratulations guys, you're halfway there. Very funny, Peter. Very funny. No, I'm going to wait until... We actually... they said that you call Tom yet. I assume you're talking about Tom Welling from Smallville. They shot 217 episodes, and we will finish this season with 218.
I think when we got the season 10 pickup, I think we did send him an email and go like, hey buddy,
Yeah.
hot on your tail.
Oh, we'll let them know. We'll let them know. Don't you worry about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, hi. You've ever had to do for a role?
I love her. She's like, okay, what's the strangest thing you've ever done?
You should be an actress, because people talk about Jensen and I all the time about how we're cracking jokes right before take, and they're like guest starring, so they're laughing, and they're like, in action, and we break into character immediately, and the guest stars are like, wait, no, we're just laughing. cut, okay. That was composing. The strangest thing is love scenes. Love scenes, it's weird, because they're a bunch of like hairy grips. Like, look,
Why are they always hairy?
because they're grips.
They're either sweaty or they're hairy.
Sweaty, hairy grips.
Sweaty,
It's not it's not fun or sexy or anything. It's awkward. You don't really know the person, and you're like, I'm really sorry. Like this is. He has a weird.
I'm really sorry. All right, I'll marry you.
And now it's even more awkward. Well, he has a friend who lives in town who came out with us last night, and the way they met was Jensen played his friend's boyfriend. So you tell us.
Wait, what?
I was saying Evan's ex-girlfriend, 15 years ago. Jensen,
Yes, this is probably the stranger ways of having a friend, but so quick story. When I got Days of Our Lives, I was on Days of Our Lives. As you know, there's lots of love scenes on these soap operas. So they were looking for a love interest for my character. So they auditioned a bunch of different females, and they finally picked a few. And then I went, I read with them, and it came down to this one girl who, oddly enough, is still on the show, Ariane Zucker. And so that weekend, I think she got cast. She hadn't even worked on the show yet. She got cast that week, and that weekend was a big industry party. And they invited her because she was the new cast member. Well, she brought her boyfriend at the time. And here comes this guy, cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And I'm like, what's this guy doing in L.A.? Turns out he was a college baseball player and was in the pharmaceutical industry. And so I meet him.
The legal pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, the real. So I meet him, I'm like, hey man, I'm just going to apologize in advance because I'm going to be making out with your girlfriend for quite a bit over the next couple of years. And he's like, yeah, I don't really get that, but okay, I guess. Well, anyway, real nice guy, and they broke up very shortly after that. So a year goes by, and Ari's having some problems with her current relationship, and I'm like, why don't you, what happened to that guy you were dating when we first met? He seemed like a nice guy. Call him up. And she's like, no, I can't. I mean, I think about him, but no, I can't. I'm like, well, give me his number. I'll call him for you. So she did, and I did, and I left him a message, and I'm like, hey man, I don't know if you remember me. I met you about a year ago. I worked with Ariane. You know what? Give me a call back. So about a day goes by, he calls me back. I'm like, hey, what's up, Evan? How you doing? You remember who I am? He's like, I have no idea who you are. Or why you're calling me. I'm like, oh, okay. Listen, totally random. I further explained who it was, and he was like, oh yeah, okay, what's up? I'm like, this is going to be totally random, but a couple of buddies of mine are headed out to Thousand Oaks to a rodeo. You want to go? Total stranger, by the way, this guy. There was a long pause, and he goes, what the heck, why not? I later found out, he's like, I was in a weird place in my life at that point. It's like, what could be more strange than this? So anyway, he came with us, we went out, we had a great time, we've been friends, we ended up being roommates a couple years later, and he stood up at my wedding. And, but, getting back to the question, he never understood how somebody could make out or be intimate with somebody on camera and it not mean anything. And I guess
it's hard to describe how awkward it is. It looks like, oh, this is like you really got steamy in it. You're like, no, it's like weird.
It's like a choreographed dance. Every move is calculated, and it's like, okay, I'm going to kiss left for 3 beats, and then I'm going to move my head right for 3 beats, and then I'm going to roll her over, and then I'm going to roll her back over. So it's all like you're just counting beats in your head. You're not thinking about making out with this person. That is a very awkward thing to do on camera. Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
I feel like I'm having a mental breakdown right now, sorry.
That's my life, an illusion.
How long do you think you two would survive fighting a supernatural creature?
Which supernatural creature?
Oh! Anyone, I guess. You could
Is it me fighting it, or is it Hairman?
I'm going to say you.
Do I get to use the knowledge that I have gained through working on the show?
Well, yeah, that's part of you, so you can.
Probably 3 or 4 seconds.
Can Cass bring me back to life?
No, and you can't like slap people with your hair either.
That's debilitating for him.
Probably 0 seconds. Goose egg. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So you guys are really pretty, and I love you. So my question is, what is the most difficult scene you've ever had to film on Supernatural?
Most difficult? I remember that one.
Do you agree?
I'd say one of the most physically uncomfortable scenes was the one where Dean was in hell at the end of season 3. And was chained up because I was actually chained up. Those were real hooks in my skin. Hey, I give my life, my heart. It was, though, it was very, very painful, and it took so long to get me rigged up and to get me hoisted up, and I was hanging about 13 feet in the air because there was a big crane that was moving in on my face. It was a shot. It was only one shot, and but I had to hang there for what seemed like eternity, and it was just like, it was so painful. That sucked.
I think for me, probably Mystery Spot was really and really funny, but remember, it wasn't funny for Sam, you know? And so, in my approach to, and everybody is different, every actor is different, but my approach to all these scenes, whether it's French Mistake where you're playing yourself or changing channels or Mystery Spot where these kind of funny episodes, it was real to Sam, right? And so for it to be real to Sam, I had to try and make it real to Jared. That was really, it was difficult. It was like crying for days on end. I need the hug.
What was that?
Virtual hug. I learned this earlier. Your hair was in your face. I had to get it out. Thank you. But that was mine. That was mine. Yeah. Thank you. Howdy.
Hi. So my question is for Jensen. Hi. Okay. Do you actually like pie as much as Dean does in Supernatural? And if you do, I can actually make you some in a pastry shop.
I don't think anybody likes pie as much as Dean Winchester likes. That being said, I do love me some pie. I was in Louisiana for Thanksgiving this past year, and there was no pumpkin pie. I wanted to go wrestle an alligator. I was so mad. My wife promised that would never happen again. What is your favorite dessert to make?
I like doing more cakes because I want to get into doing wedding cakes. So I would say probably cake, but I also like making tiramisu.
You gotta walk away because I'm starting to get real hungry. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hi.
Wow, hi.
Like cake. That's chicken. What about beefcake? I put a 5 in there.
That's all. That's all. Take a champagne room later.
That was her question, right? I'm so sorry.
I don't think she's asked the question yet. Apologize.
Tone it down, you guys.
Calm down. Simmer.
I was actually wondering about like what's the best like acting direction you've ever gotten?
I know mine immediately. I'm not lying. Bob Singer, the real Bob Singer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a man of few words as it is. And we've now worked together for so long that he now just takes to doing this, for giving me notes. He'll walk on set after I've done a take and he'll just do this. Yes. And I know exactly what he wants. And that to me is my favorite direction. Just, hey. Yeah, speed it up. Okay, got it, Bob, thanks.
That's right.
So I'd say in a kind of a comedic way, that's my favorite. But as far as,
I know mine.
Kim gave some real pearls of wisdom. I mean, I love, there was a couple things he used to say, but right before we started tape. And one of them I will always, one of them is very famous, that's kick in the ass. But he would say that to really fire us up, and he would say that just before he yelled action. But another thing he said was, he'd say, okay boys, find the nuances. Find the nuance. Find the minutiae, find the nuance. Let's go, here we go. And there was something about, he was like, listen, do what's said on the, read the lines as they are on the paper, but find what's not on the page. And I think he and I have done well finding what's not on the page with the characters over the past 10 years, and it's
that I agree with. Finding the minutiae and the details is what kind of makes things more realistic. My favorite piece of direction is more, he's buttoning it up. I love that somebody in the audience is like, yeah, put it on! Take my jacket!
a couple of guys in the audience are like, what the hell is
Put on, yeah. This note has been given to me by more than one person on more than one occasion, and the general note is, but I think time meant the most to me, and I'll never forget the words out of his mouth. But I did a Christmas movie with Peter O'Toole, and there's a scene where I haven't seen it. I've never seen it. I'm not kidding. That's not a joke. I've never had myself, and I don't enjoy it.
You're not missing much.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, I watch it every Christmas.
I sort of locked that up. No, and there's a scene where my character is his pupil, so my character comes into his mentor to say thank you for everything. And this scene and what I was saying as a character to him overtook Jared, to where it kind of stayed with me a little bit afterwards. And Peter O'Toole is an 8-time Oscar nominee, amazing actor, Lawrence of Arabia, for God's sake. He pulled me aside, he's like, hey, may we have a moment? And everybody's of course. And he pulled me aside and he goes, Jared, put those tears away. Those are Tom's tears. And I was like, that's such a cool thing. It was him saying, listen, you got it. You're finding the emotional depth, but don't lose your character, Tom Kincaid, in Jared's acting. Like, it's your job to, when they call cut, leave it, and then you'll have it again. But those are Tom's tears. And it happened again with Bob Singer at Croatoan, when this scene is between Sam and Eve, and Sam saying, there's something wrong with me, let me die. It just took me over. And Bob, and I mean, I must have cried 8 ounces. And Bob kind of let me take a breath, and he's like, that was...
I bottled that, by the way, if anybody did.
He has a little bit every morning. No, but Bob said the thing. He was like, hey. And he told me the same thing basically. He's like, bring it down a touch. You got it, great, but now hold it in. But those were probably my two favorite bits. Thank you. In my meet and greet today, I was told, you're in the prime of your acting, between your 30s and 50s. I'm like, 30s and 50s? You couldn't say like in my early 30s? Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, brother.
My name is Paul. Just to backtrack a little bit about the whole cake and pie discussion. I'm inviting you, just in case you want to come. The lovely lady was, that lovely lady was my fiance, so if you wanted some of her delicious wedding cake, my wedding is actually being June 13th of this year.
Where is it?
It's going to be in Aptos, California. So.
Give your information to Cliff. I'd love it.
All right, we'll do. Anyways.
Congratulations, she's a very lovely lady.
Thank you.
Because you're going to be about 800 pounds. Mark my words wherever you are.
My question is, who were your guys' idols when you were growing up? And if those idols brought you into acting, why did they inspire you? So.
I don't know, as a kid, for me, idol is kind of something funny. Because I had, and retrospectively, I had idols as a child, but at the time, they weren't my idol. You know, looking back, I'm like, oh, that person that I looked up to, I didn't know the word idol. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't like, yeah, this is my idol, my motivation. But now looking back, I mean, my family, obviously, my father, my brother, being the older kind of men in the family, I wanted to do right by them. My mother, obviously. But as far as the business goes, I always wanted to be on Home Improvement. I wanted to have 3 names and be one of the Taylor boys. I could have been. I could have been like. I'm probably like in a cage in hell now, and somewhere in Home Improvement Land, as the forgotten brother. But I was like, you know, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Tara Noah Smith, Jared Tristan Padalecki.
You wanted to be on that show so that you could use all 3 names?
All the little girls in middle school had the folders. They had like JTV. Oh yeah. Or like CTV. Yep. TNS.
I wanted to be on that show because Pamela Anderson was on it, not because I had 3 names.
Yeah, but I was like, you were like in your 30s. I was 7.
Yeah, I definitely found inspiration from certain actors that my dad was a big James Stewart fan. So I watched a lot of James Stewart movies, and I just thought he was so realistic back in a time when realism really wasn't the style of acting. And I really thought that he kind of paved a new way of acting style and to just being very real on camera. So as far as dramatic goes, I really found a lot of inspiration from those old movies. And then comedically, Jerry Lewis, I mean, that's probably where I get.
You also have like a Chevy Chase thing going on. Yeah, I think as an adult, I think.
Older. Certainly the Chevy Chase. Although my Chevy Chase story was a bit of a letdown, so but I still.
It's a great story. Were he to tell it.
I'm sure I told it. I'm sure some of you probably heard it, but it's real quick. I was shooting a pilot for Fox in New York City, in Manhattan, and we were on the Upper West Side doing a walk and talk scene with Steadicam, and it was just me and one other guy, Chris Palaha. Some of you may know that actor. And we were doing just a walking and talking scene, and while the camera was getting reloaded, this car pulls up, and it's blaring classical music, and it's a convertible, and I look over, and it's Chevy Chase, and I mean, we're standing on the sidewalk here, and he's probably that far away from me. And I'm like, this is one of, like, the funniest actors that of my time. I'm like, this guy, he's like a comic genius in my opinion. I love his Saturday Night Live stuff was amazing. I could probably quote you The Three Amigos, Christmas Vacation. I watch it every year. Like, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, say something to him. It's Chevy Chase, say something. And this was kind of before he kind of went away for a while and didn't do anything for a long time, and then I think he came back and did Community was his first thing. So not thinking about, I don't know why, but I'm like, set him up for a joke. And I go, hey Chevy, you want to be my stand-in? That's what came out. I don't know why. And he looks at me with just this, like, how dare you? Doesn't say a word and then just speeds off. And I was like, I blew it. It was a joke. And Chris, who was standing next to me, just hits me. He's like, dude, you know he hasn't worked in like 10 years. So I feel the need to apologize to him if I ever do see him again. But anyway, those guys are the people, I don't know if I consider them idols, but certainly people that I admired and looked up to and found inspiration from.
Thank you very much.
My question is, what's the hardest part about working with each other?
Working with each other? Where do we start? How much time do we have left? You know what? This is my honest to God answer. I feel like sometimes, in a weird reverse psychology way, it's almost so easy to work together that I forget I'm working. If that makes any sense, I don't want to say I get content by any means. No, but you know what I mean? Like when you're working with. It's like if you're playing tennis with somebody you played tennis with for 20 years compared to playing with somebody in a pickup game that you've never met. You don't know, and it keeps you on your. So I feel like we have, but maybe that's good because that's the same relationship Sam and Dean have, right? They're so comfortable with each other that it just kind of flows. So if anything, I feel like it's almost so. I have to remind myself to be careful not to get complacent or relaxed. I have to remind myself, like, hey, this still is a job. I love this job and this and that, but I got to make sure to be back on. You know? So that's my honest answer.
Woo!
Yeah, there's not any kind of hiccups or you know, bumps in the road of working together. It's kind of been smoothed out. I mean, we've had a little bit of time to do that, so it's pretty easy. I think, like Jared said, one of the things we have to look out for is not to get too complacent, not to get too comfortable to where we're not thinking about what we're doing, because it certainly does get that comfortable on set. Like you said earlier, you know, we can be goofing around literally up until the point that someone says action, and then it's just and which totally throws other people off. But I think we do. The nice thing is that we have each other to keep, like, we hold each other accountable. So if he sees me getting a little, like, not thinking about what I'm doing, he can be like, hey, what are you doing right now? I'll be like, yeah, got it. You know, and it's just little things like that that we can kind of, that's nice, which I don't think, you know, if you're the lead of a series, you know, like I don't know that Tom Welling had that. I don't know that Steve Amell has that. You know, he has other cast members around him, but he's kind of, you know, up top by himself.
He's alone up top. We have each other, right? So,
which is, you know, which is nice. So.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
First I want to thank you guys for being so nice during the photo ops. You're really great. And I wanted to ask you guys if you would encourage your children to maybe join like the film industry and maybe go on to become actors and actresses.
I am not specific. I am not going to deny anything to them, but I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I don't want to be like Debbie Downer, but it's for the few. You know, what do they say? Like this came out when there was the SAG renegotiations. They were like, I think there were 125,000 members of SAG, which is really difficult. It's really difficult to get into SAG. Like you meet people on set and you're like, wait, dude, what do you mean you're not SAG? You know, these actors who like went to Juilliard or like have spent $100,000 getting an education and training, and they're like, I hate my SAG card. I'm like, geez. And there were 120,000 at the time, and at that time, only 5,000 members. Keep in mind, it's really tough to get SAG, and it's 5,000 of the 120,000 made more than $5,000 a year. That's it. So to give you some idea of like, it's a grind. We do that over and over and over again. He and I, we say it all the time. We win the lottery every day. The idea that we can wake up and play characters we love, people we enjoy, a crew we adore, and a place that's beautiful, and travel around and have people tell us like, hey, you really like the work. It's better than winning the lottery because we feel like we have some involvement in it, you know? So that having been said, I know it's not like there are a lot of easy paths in life. Life is difficult. But I think the film industry, if they really, really, really want to do it, then, you know, I'll give them some phone numbers, but I'm not going to nepotism them into the industry by any means. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Hey, I'll back you up. I agree. I don't think I will encourage it, but I won't discourage it.
I'm not going to disallow something, especially if they can make a living doing it, they enjoy it, and it's really difficult for women. So he has his daughter.
There's a little, oh, she's not going to have, don't worry about it. We were having some electrical work done in our house in LA, and there was this young, good-looking guy, and I started talking to him, and I find out that he's Mel Gibson's son. And he's like pulling wires and like hooking up some, like it's changing a breaker box in my house. And I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. I'm like, did you always want to be an electrician? And he's like, no, I'm trying to be an actor. And he's like, I'm like, does your dad know this? And he's like, yeah, but he said, you know, that I would have to make it like everybody else would do. And he's like going to acting class and he's supporting himself by being an electrician. Wow. I'm like, wow, what a jerk. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you guys going to be, or do you want to bring back classic rock as an intro or a major element?
I would love there to be more of the music on the show. All kinds. Classic rock, country western. There's a great new artist that I think some of you may have heard. I tweeted about it. Sturgill Simpson. I'm like, man, this is the exact kind of music that you'd be playing in a bar that Sam and Dean are walking through. Loud and Swing. And I told him, I'm like, listen, you get the rights, because that's the hardest thing, is money, right? It costs money. So they don't want to pay the artists because, you know, they're spending so much money on the production that it's, you know, a lot of these bands, especially these old, well-known bands, you know, like the Zeppelin or Aerosmith, stuff like that, their songs cost a lot of money because a lot of people want them. And I'm like, look, just put a mic and a band on a set, and I'll just go up and sing it myself.
Say